Sup guys, it's your boy Justin. I'm reviewing the Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. I look autistic as hell. It is what it is. Here's the back cover. So I was going to review a Spider-Man book, and I was going to review this, but then I remembered. I read the introduction. And I remembered. Oh right, the symbiote's first appearance is in this series, which is like in I think it's issue 8. Which I read this over a period of like 2 weeks, because I would literally only read this book on my lunch break, and my lunch break was like 15 minutes, so you can't really read too much. Which is like a 12 issue series. It was like Marvel's first major crossover. From 1984, it's a 12 issue miniseries. This trade paperback goes for 35 US. 39 Canadian, rated T for teen, and it's pretty good, I would say, for 1984. Written by the legendary Jim Shooter, art by Mike Zeck, which I'll show you. Show you the art there. The art is honestly not that great, but it's not too bad either. Though some of the costumes is very dated. Like Wasp, and a lot of the super villains costumes are, holy crap, really bad. So I've been meaning to read this series for a long time, but then I heard it sucked from some people, which is like crazy. But it's getting the Marvel MCU is doing this borrowing from this story, or the Jonathan Hickman one, I don't know. So it's finally back in print. I read it and I enjoyed it. Fuck the screw the haters who hate this book. I thought it was really good, especially with Jim Shooter. So like the whole, and I it's funny reading the introduction to this thing. You find out this series only exists because a toy company got in contact with Marvel, saying, "Hey, we want to do a toy line, but you need to write a series for the toy line." And they literally show you the toys in the back here in the bio, which there are toys of characters that weren't even in the series, which is weird. But despite the fact that this whole graphic novel, this miniseries was basically just a major toy commercial, it was actually really good. Like Jim Shooter knows how to take take superheroes and make them more mature, man. Because like a lot of mature stuff in here. There's sexuality in the book. There's racism in the book between the mutants, and even some actual racism. Or kind of, I don't know. Like it depends. I mean, some people might complain about how they portray Jim Rhodes in the book, which that's not Tony Stark Iron Man, by the way. That's Jim Rhodes, who later became War Machine, because that's, I guess, some point in the 80s, Tony Stark retired or something, and that Jim Rhodes was like Iron Man, which I remember that being the case in West Coast Avengers. So the book, I'll just go into the. Oh, by the way, they were throwing mad shade at Marv Wolfman. Because Marv Wolfman had this idea. Apparently, Marv Wolfman, I don't know. According to this guy, who was it? Tom DeFalco. According to Tom DeFalco, the major crossover event wasn't a thing to, because Marv Wolfman in his Crisis on Infinite Earth said he had this idea for major crossover so they could fix everything in the series, right? In the universe, right? Like tie everything up. According to this, it was like, no, it's so we could make money selling toys and shit. And shit. Holy crap. According to Tom DeFalco or whatever, based off the bio. which I thought, holy crap, they were throwing major shade. But yeah, I'll just go into the book. So the book is about, you have this character named the Beyonder, who's like this cosmic entity who summons heroes and villains, which here you can see. I'll show you. Here you can see all the heroes and villains. And summons them all to this makeshift planet made from multiple worlds, including one from Denver, right? And he promised them, hey, do battle with each other, and I'll make your desires like whatever you desire yours. And on the hero side, you have a mashup of like Spider-Man, the Avengers, and the X-Men. And on the villain side, in which even Magneto's on the hero side, but and on the villain side, you have this mashup of like it's kind of random because it's like you have like major villains like Ultron, Galactus, which is like what the hell, the Wrecking Crew, some Spider-Man villains, and Kang and Doctor Doom, and Molecule Man, and two like random females super villains. Which there you can see the random super villains, all Doc Ock and the lizards there. Like I said, it's like a combination of four villains. Four as in like the God of Thunder. Not a lot of X-Men villains there because. And Molecule Man, who like you would think is like super, who like would be kind of not. It's the thing where he has really strong power, but he's low IQ. But he's able to like figure it out. And there's also Claw is in here too, which is like kind of like the psycho pirate in the series. And the series starts off okay. You think it's based off the characters. This should be just like, you have your heroes on one side, villains on the other. This should be a simple team deathmatch, right? Wrong, because the heroes don't trust each other and the villains don't trust each other. So like the heroes. Oh, I forgot to mention like 3 out of 4 of the Fantastic Four is on the heroes team as well. The only one missed is Invisible Girl, or whatever her name is, like Sue Storm. And the heroes don't really trust each other. So like the X-Men have, because like there's the thing where like Hawkeye almost gets in a fight with like Cyclops and Wolverine because they want to immediately, they want like the Avengers wants to like beat the crap out of Magneto, which Magneto escapes and runs off with the Wasp. Where there's a super funny scene where it's implied that Magneto bangs the Wasp. Which is like holy crap. Which later it's only because she was trying to gather info on what he was up to. But yeah, like because of that, like the Professor Xavier decides we would be better off if we just become a separate force from the Avengers, right? Which it's funny because at the time, both the Avengers and the X-Men had female leaders. Wasp for the Avengers and like Storm for the X-Men, which makes no sense, but whatever the hell. Chris Claremont was trying to be pro-feminism or whatever. And because of the events going on Battleworld, that's what it's called, the planet that the Beyonder made. They were like, okay, temporary, because this is a big crisis. We're going. The people who were normally the leaders became the leaders again. So Captain America becomes the leader of the Avengers, and like the Charles Xavier becomes the leader of the X-Men. Which you see him in a wheelchair in the beginning, but then he's like, "Oh yeah, I can actually walk," which is crazy. Which eventually Magneto ends up joining the X Men. Uh, and by the way, like they have like Jim Rose back to him as Iron Man. They can't. I guess nobody else knows that he's not actually Tony Stark. And the way he talks to he'll constantly say shit, but it will be like she ought. So it's like kind of hard to tell. If, like, is he supposed to I guess we're supposed to be thinking he's saying shoot when he's obviously saying shit. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, like a lot of I thought the battles were great. It is like the battles are kind of random though, because it'd be like, oh, some some days the heroes win, some issues the villains win, and and you also have a thing where Galactus is just like fucks off, tries to defeat the Beyonder by himself to get the prize, which his motivation for winning is because if you've seen the recent Fantastic Four movie, you know, like he really hates having to go around destroying planets, constantly being hungry like a body. Oh my god. And you know, so like he tries to take over the defeat the Beyonder. Only that doesn't work, so he summons his like world ship and is, you know, planning something against the Beyonder, which at first everybody thinks, oh, he's going to destroy the planet, we have to stop him, only for it's like something else, but you never find out what. uh which Doctor Doom ends up becoming a major player in the series. I'm not going to spoil what. Which he becomes the de facto leader of the villain side, which is crazy when you have Ultron and like Kang. Which, oh my god, he kills Doctor Doom kills Kang right off the bat. Which surprisingly a lot of characters die in this series, which is like holy crap. Not a lot though, not a lot. And there's some fake out deaths. Oh, by the way, randomly Spider Woman shows up in this series, which I didn't mind. Oh, you get to see Doctor Doom, what Doctor Doom looks like, because he fixes his face. I'm not gonna say how he fixes his face, and doesn't he look like Clark Kent kind of? Which there's a random issue in this series where they drew like Colossus, like Robert Mitchum from the like a 1950s actor, by the way. But yeah, there's a lot of cool battles, a lot of sexuality in the book. There's like a love triangle between like Johnny Storm, this alien woman who has healing powers, and like Colossus, who has a thing for her, who loses interest in Kitty, which is so fucked up that Kitty, like, they never say how old Colossus is in the X Men comics, but we know Kitty's like 13 or whatever. So it's like, I thought it was always weird, like, okay, nobody's gonna be like, Colossus, why the fuck do you have this thing for this like fucking teenage girl? Not even teenage girl, barely teenage girl. So they kind of fixed that in this book, where like, oh, he ends up falling for Sadaji and loses interest in Kitty Stark. Kitty Pryde. Yeah. So I thought that was actually a good. Oh, and there's also a thing in the book where the Thing will randomly go back to his human self. Right. And by the end of the book will randomly go back to his human form and then return as the monster Thing. And by the end of the book, he's able to control it, and I guess he goes on to have his own Soul series, which I have like some of the epic collection for that, by John Byrne. I don't know if it's for that series though, but like, yeah, which that was cool. What else? Also, Bruce Banner Hulk has his intelligence. They're basically this, so he's basically Smart Hulk. Though, like, he kind of complains like, oh, like I'm not as because I'm smart. I'm like not as strong as when I'm like dumb Hulk, because I'm not constantly super angry. But because I'm Um, I'm Hulk. I'm not as smart as when I'm Bruce Banner or some shit. So I thought, oh, okay, that was weird, but whatever. Overall, I enjoyed the series. Lots of cool action, lots of cool deaths. But like, holy crap, dude! It is like there is some Deus Ex Machina bullshit, but overall, I enjoyed the series. It was really fun. Definitely, like, made me want to read more Jim Shooter comics, which I kind of understand why some people say, like, Jim Shooter's actually an underrated comic book writer. I need to read more Jim Shooter. But yeah, I enjoyed the book and I would recommend it. Peace out.